In A Guava Orchard by N.P. Singh. Safdar, Ajay and I dashed out of the classroom as bell rang. It was the lunch break and we had a whole hour to play. Safdar was the tallest, also the strongest among us. He was our leader. Ajay and I followed him meekly like a lamb. We were about to cheerfully over the path that led to a guava orchard. There was a mud wall around it. Safdar, who was in high spirit, leaped over it and bragged, "Look at the guavas! Come on kids, let's have feast." Ajay also leaped over the wall, saying, "What fun! How lovely!" I smacked my lips at the sight of the luscious green guavas in the orchard. I was, however, afraid that we might be caught by the watchman, but Safdar present felt me safe. I too jumped over the wall. There were trees and trees, all bursting with ripe and unripe guavas. We roamed freely. Safdar was greedily eating ripe guavas, while Ajay and I leaped like monkeys, devoted to the unripe one. I preferred raw guavas, and I could never have enough. I stuffed my pocket, and I wanted to carry them as a souvenir of my daring expedition to the orchard. Wouldn't my classmate gape at them, eyes bulging? Suddenly, I heard the Safdar's cry, "Ajay, Lokesh, run, run! The watchman is coming!" Perched on the top of a branch, I saw a tall, sinister-looking figure of the watchman approaching. He was waving a staff in his hand. Safdar and Ajay were already on the ground and had started running. The watchman waved his staff and ran after them shouting, "Thieves! Thieves! See, don't they escape!" I lost no time. I jumped down from the tree and took my heels. Safdar and Ajay were far ahead and I ran faster. As I leapt over the Dutch's boulders in the orchard, the guavas began to fall out of my pockets. The watchman chased us furiously. Afterwards, seeing ages, the mud wall came into the view. Safdar, who was the first to reach, took a flying leap over it. Ajay, close behind, managed to roll over. Safdar kept shouting, "Run, Lokesh, run! The fellow is closing in!" I put in every ounce of energy I had and ran like a man. The watchman, charging like a bull, bellowing curses. A host of our street urchins had by then appeared from nowhere and joined the chase. "Now jump!" cried Safdar. I took a mighty leap and landed on the top of the wall. The last guavas in my pocket rolled out. I felt miserably cheated. I did not want to lose at any cost. I jumped back onto the orchard and stooped to pick it up. It was rather dark, but I managed to find the lost guava. I held it in my hand and leapt over the wall. Beyond it lay the school compound and my friends. I slipped and fell. The looming figure of a watchman drew closer. Safdar and Ajay were screaming and urging me not to waste time. As I scrambled up, the watchman's steely fingers gripped me, and I struggled to shake him off. But the burly man picked me up, flung me over his shoulder, and walked briskly back into the orchard. Soon after, he deposited me before a man seated on a cot.
"Malik,
He addressed him, wiping perspiration off his forehead. This fellow is the leader of the school gang. He regularly brings a number of them and steal our guavas. They destroy more than they eat. The Malik looked up, calm but formidable. I felt he would thrash me. I was scared, also shamed that I had been caught red-handed. He stared at me hard. I stood rooted to the ground, expecting a tight slap. He got up from a cot and stood before me. He looked tall as a palm tree. What's your name? He asked me. Where do you live? I am Lokesh. I studied in a school over there and I am a principal's son. You like guavas? I nodded. Did you come alone? I pointed to Safdar and Ajay, who were still tapping over the mud wall. The Malik asked the watchman to get a basket of guavas. He is not a thief, he told him. He is a decent kid. He waved to my friend and signaled them to come in. Safdar and Ajay wouldn't budge an inch. They stayed where they were. Come on, Lokesh. Ask them to come in, he urged me. I was rather dazed and undecided. The man smiled. Call them in, child. Don't be frightened. I was not afraid anymore. Come over, Safdar. Come over, Ajay, I shouted. They soon joined me, looking sheepish and guilty. We could hardly believe on our eyes when the watchman came back with a basket of guavas. Go ahead and eat as many you want, said the Malik. We stood looking at him. We had expected him to treat like a thief. You are like my child. His gentle voice was soothing. This is your garden. You don't have to enter like a thief. You go to the watchman. He will help you. Gratefully, we accepted the guavas he offered. Thanking him profusely, we took a leave of him. There was a smile on his face as he bade us goodbye. Remember, children, do not anything that make me filthy. Okay? You must always be proud of what you do. We left the orchard. I was limping a bit, but my pockets were bulging with guavas. His words are still fresh in my mind.